One, two, three. Hello everyone and welcome back. Does it work? Sound is good? 1, 2, 3. Hello. Hey, that sounds good. Alright, so sound is perfect. We have some viewers. Hey everyone, nice to see you. Hey Taha, how are you? So, this is a little bit of a testing day where I want to code a bit around. So let's see, because as you can see, we have a nice stand now for our microphone. It is a glass with coins. Sorry if it was a bit noisy. So, and with that, I just want to start a bit. And my idea was, I watched this morning a live stream from a good friend of mine, and she, hey Amish, and she created a portfolio for her Codepens. So she made a collection of all the Codepens, and I thought, yeah, why don't I do something like that, something similar? And hey, very good, and you? So I thought, without any preparation, I just sit in front of the camera, take a look, talk with you guys, have some fun, and write some code with you, and prepare the coffee. And just doing some Saturday afternoon coding, and let's see how it turns out. So if you have some ideas, please let me directly know, because I really start fresh without any assumptions. The only thing that I know is it will be a Flutter web, right? Because we want to have it in the Codepen at the end, where we collect all the Codepens that, in that case, I created already. So what I did so far, I only created a plain project with Flutter Create. I started it in macOS so that we can see it a bit better and have a better performance. And I just want to have a look if we see everything correctly, if I start everything up, or if we have some errors. But at the end, everything should be fine, and I just want to get a bit more convenient with the whole live streaming situation so that we can improve this Wednesday part. We have there so much plans, it is incredible. And also I think Streamlabs, I made now a lot of courses there, I learned there a lot, and so there is in every part we improve there somehow. So yeah, I have here our little Codepen. So maybe I can also add that as an own window. Then we have that everywhere. So let me see if I can add that. Like this is a window capture, add source. So we call that our Flutter one. Don't get confused, this is just working around inside of the Streamlabs, so because I'm the only, so done. With a bit of luck, you will see now that window all the time, even though I moved that to the second monitor. And then we have some more space to work in. The only problem that could happen is that I overlay the code and you can't see it. But as always, just leave me a message. And if you anyway think that I can improve anything, always tell me that, right? Because I can't learn and can't improve if you don't tell me what I should improve. Cool. So we have that, and then let's get right into it. Okay, so as I said, I would like to have a portfolio at the end. You? Hello. Hey, Trent. Yes, okay, let's start with the debug banner, because that is something I can directly do without having too much hassle. So we have here the debug show check banner inside of the material app, which we can just set to false, and with that it is already done. So Amish, well done. First task done. Thank you, Taha. Cool. So that was the first step. So the second one is maybe changing the title. And what could we tell it? I think portfolio or Codepen portfolio is pretty good. What do we have else? We have our home page, and I think with the counter and everything, we could directly delete that. Do we see a problem with that? I don't think so. Let's create our package. I think screens is good. Yeah, the debug button is somehow weird, But it's good to let everyone know that this app is not yet production ready, right? It's so cool with you guys, serious. I'm happy that you all joined in. I didn't thought that so many people have interest in that. That is Android Studio version 3.6, I think. Let's see, 3.6.3, yes. And the version that you see is just the desktop one. So it is not an emulator, it is really the desktop application from Android. The only thing, maybe you don't see the head bar or anything. Wait, I have to make that bigger to see. Oh no, you see everything. So it is really the desktop version, because I think the desktop version is the closest that we have to the web version. So we can have everything in mind, like responsive design and everything. Yeah, I'm working currently on master with that. So maybe I make a Flutter doctor for you guys that you can see that. So how is the current setup? Make that a bit bigger. So let's see, Flutter doctor, it was running already. But you can see we are on channel master 1.19. Has it really? I worked the last time with Android Studio 4, but we had some issues by the upgrade, so I rolled back with that. We can do that at the moment. I think it's something that we can check. So what I will do is I just upgrade to the beta branch and just see if we get some updates here. Because I would be very interested to work with that in... You say that has a built-in emulator? Really? That sounds really terrific. How can I upgrade here? To release... wait, I can, I think, do it here. Roll back, install the Force 0 RC1. So it is just a release candidate. And now we update. Shouldn't take too long. The internet connection should be stable enough, hopefully. And it's already installed. Hey, that sounds good. So we can close that one off. And I open up Android Studio once more. Let's see what you see now. Okay, you just see the title bar. That's all right. I close that once more. Cool. So with that, okay, we have some settings to do, but all right, I think. Okay, I have to do it in Streamlabs too. So give me a second. You will see in a second everything again. That is the Flutter. That's perfect. Here we go, and I have to select. Let's see. Manual to window. All right. So let's see, that's not perfect yet because it closed up the other. Where did I have it? Maybe couldn't find it. So where are we? Flutter app, portfolio, Codepen. I open it in this window, and the problem that I see already is that the font size has minimized. I think that is not good for you guys, and also that is big. I had everything so big set up, but now everything is destroyed with that. But that's fine, we will manage that. So let's see how I can do that. Like this maybe, a bit up. But now we have this stupid bar on the bottom. Okay, just have to remember that it's a bit smaller. So, perfect. Okay, so you can see. Okay, and now I remove for now this Flutter one so that you can see the whole screen. And now let's see where we find this emulator preview. First of all, I want to increase resource manager, project, here we are. And now let's see. My whole keyboard is not working correctly. Has the key settings changed with the new version? Do you know something? Command, comma, that should be it. Doesn't work. Interesting. Hmm. 4.1? Okay, but how? Okay, so I have to even go to the next update candidate, to the canary at the end. Let's see where we go. And I close this one. So that takes 4 minutes now, but I hope that is okay. Just to upgrade it. In the meantime, I can open up a browser maybe, then we have also this source here. And browser source, add source. That's wrong. Yes, canary is the bloody edge, so that means when something is broken, then it is most likely in canary, I think. That would be the master channel for Android Studio, not necessarily the dev channel. So then window capture, new source. Hey Naji, I just make a basic development session and I want to create a portfolio for Codepens. So I want to have something where I manage all my Codepens inside. I don't know how far we come today because I want to try a bit around. No, I didn't have a chance to try Dino yet. I see it a lot in Twitter yet. Sounds like the next big thing somehow. So the browser is here, doesn't have to be on top of everything, so perfect. Had you already a chance to try Dino? I was yesterday already very happy that I installed the Surface Duo. So what I can show you is, maybe you can see that even. You know what, I will just release my whole monitor, I think, then we don't have to fight with everything here. So let's not the window. Get the display and you get the whole display here. So none, that's fine. So you see everything is today very relaxed. I really want to just try a bit around. So if you have any concerns about that, please let me know. But I think that makes the most of sense right now for me. So. And we have the terminal. And what I wanted to show you here actually is I created already the tools. And here inside we have the Surface Duo. And now we can just run .sh. Mic gun. Here we go back. That was weird. Okay, but now you can hear me again? I think so. Hey Daniel, nice to see you all around. It's so beautiful to see you. That's amazing. So we're just playing a bit around. I don't know if the run with the Surface Duo but let's try it again. Yeah, here we are. So I don't know how it works as a device actually then in the end, but I was really impressed by the sheer possibility of 2 monitor screens. It was really impressive. Yeah, maybe just 100, but the Surface Book, I had one also myself. It was pretty impressive, and also the sheer possibilities with 2 monitors is pretty good. I can imagine that in the future we have more and more, and I think someone mentioned yesterday also foldable devices, and I can really imagine that we have like a foldable device with 1 monitor, like a mono monitor, which then gets more or less like a Surface Duo-like device. So could be interesting, I don't know. Now is the emulator the whole time on top. I think that is not what I want to achieve. How do I get that? Yeah, all right. So we close that one off again. And let's go back to that, what we wanted to achieve. So you said in Android Studio 4.1, we have now, how do you call it? Emulator. And I open that one up. Yeah, at the moment the price tag is really crazy, but in the future, who knows? What do we have here? Delete directories. Yeah, so I destroy now everything for you guys. So let's see, we have a standard installation. I take, of course, dark mode, and let's go. Yeah, so during the installation process, we can take a look into the documentation here and see we have no recent updates here. That's horrible. What is now the idea? What's new? Yeah, there's nothing new, I think. Linting, a lot of testing, robust, yeah. But the emulator... Studio release update, maybe here's more. No, not necessarily. Yeah, so give it a second as soon as the emulator and everything has downloaded. Which is a shame that it has not happened already. I'm sorry. So guys, that was not planned. So for everyone, we're just jumping it right into Android Studio 4.1 right now. And we are working with Surface Duo, playing a bit around. This live stream is all about testing a bit around. The idea was new features. All right, let's have a look. This one? Okay, so Windows, macOS have to do something. All right. Oh wow, that looks very interesting. Run Android emulator. No. Run directly. Ah, here we go. Directly in Android Studio, use the feature to conserve screen real estate. Wow, that is perfect for live streaming and developing. I love that because I never knew where to go with the emulator, and I started to push it on top of everything just so that you all know what is going on and I see the code that I write and so on, but still it was always in the way somehow. Wow, a database inspector. That would be great for SQL Flight, I think, right? I think the last one in Android Studio or in IntelliJ was pretty strong, but it never used, no one used it actually at the end. Oh, you can write now queries? Ooh, that is really interesting. So I think I have to change the name of the stream slowly to newest features of the newest. Okay, so let's see. We open up our project. Let's go with that one. And oh, I can make that now full screen, right? So cool. Okay, here we have now once more everything together, but how can I open that now? File, settings, testing, tools, emulator, preferences, tools, emulator. Okay, let's see. Preferences would be this one, and now let's search for emulator. I think this font size will be too slow for you guys, too small for you guys, right? So I will just change quickly the fonts to Fira Code Medium, and this gets a 16, or better even though an 18, I think, just for the readability. Oh, okay, I think that's too big for all, right? So let's say 16, okay? I think we can be happy with 16. The same thing for the for here, and then we can start with the emulator. Configuration plugins, of course we need Flutter, we accept. Install requires start plugin, yeah, so install, go for it. All right. Good, that's this. And now you said we have the emulator preview, I think. Emulator? No. We have tools up here, and now FVD settings, resource manager, Flutter, getting started. Am I the only one? File settings. Okay, so it's preferences and then emulator. Yeah, here we go. So launch in a tool window, enabling the setting to launch the tool window. Otherwise, okay, apply. Let's see. Oh, made weird sounds. What happened? I have that alert box. I can push that on top. Someone subscribed. Welcome to the channel. I don't know if you have seen that, but I installed that alert box from Streamlabs, so you can sometimes see now someone is there. Okay, so next thing, I added now the emulator, and now still preferences. I should read maybe. We'll launch as a standalone. Okay, so if whenever I start now something up, it will automatically work in that emulator? Yeah, thank you that you read the documentation for me today. I'm usually doing that myself, but as always in a live stream, I'm always bad in that stuff. So where do we see it? Appearance, view tool windows. That's on top, and then emulator. Event log? I don't see it. We will see, Hamish. I don't know. It's the first time that I work with that too, so I can't see it. So that is, maybe I have to restart the Android Studio after, yeah, on that way. And then let's take another look. If you see in the chat, the Streamlabs makes a poll. I created a poll before we started just to try a bit around. So if you want to poll, I think you can, inside of the chat, you can answer with an exclamation mark and then left or right to give it an info. So just to try a bit around if you want. It's now your chance to vote for something. Okay, so next chest, view and structured Dart event. No, it's not here. Launch in a tool window. It's also not recognized the project as a Flutter project, I think. Left and right means left and right, so left side, right side. There is no implementation with that poll. It is just a test for me that I see that something like that is working. And how is it working? So don't get confused by it. Okay, I will start a new project. I think maybe this is the problem. And I see right now that there is no Flutter project. So I maybe have to check the plugins once more. Installed Flutter and Dart. Compose. Incompatible. So if I search for Flutter, can I... Wow, what's going on? Flutter packages get, Flutter upgrade, open iOS module. Am I wrong? But usually there should be something like new Flutter project, or whenever the thing is already installed. I think, Hamish, you have to decide for one. So close project. Let's see where we are. Why do we have so many of them open? So that is the problem with the canary work, right? So we need to complete Flutter project from ground with explanation. What do you mean with that yet? I don't, there is an error. Oh, ha. Plugin, connect Android debug, create Flutter bug report, IO Flutter actions, new project action. So there seems to be really a Flutter problem. Let's report that one. That would be a shame if this is not a problem, that my Flutter version is not good enough. Maybe I'm not allowed to work on... No, that can't be the problem. Interesting. Android Studio 4.1. Yeah, let's check out. Maybe we find still something. Canary 9. Flutter plugin is available. That's true. And or Flutter issue maybe. That is just known issues. Fixed issue where the emulator, this requires Android 4.1, Canary 8 or later. Maybe it's not already combined with the newest version of Android Studio. So maybe the Flutter plugin for AS is already working on that. Flutter plugin Android Studio. Should there not be a GitHub repository? Yeah, that is a good idea. Open the existing project. And let's go into the Codepen and open up the Android folder. So that should be an Android project, right? So, you recognize it directly. That's good. And still no emulator here. Can I even start this app? And still importing now the Android Gradle project. Could take a second. So it will be great in the future, but maybe it's not yet there for Flutter working on. I hope that is for everyone okay that we make a bit science today and work just around the newest features of Android Studio and everything. Yep, I just wait till the indexation is ready because Gradle is working and everything. Do you hear any music? Is that okay for you with the sound and everything? Yep. All right. Where are we? Here. Still indexing, but now it looks everything a bit different. We have now the build Gradle and we can start up here on top. And now let's have another look into the emulator. Look at that. Here we go. No emulators are currently running. That is absolutely correct. So, but we can now choose any device here, and usually I use the Pixel 3 and another upgrade. Jeez. So I'm pushing my my internet connection today to the limit. As you maybe are aware, the German internet connection is usually not that good. What are your plans for this Saturday? Besides of watching my stream, of course. Joe Rogan Spotify deal? I don't know. What is that? To be frank, I don't even know who is Joe Rogan. Is he important? He's going away from UFC. Okay. Sounds like a tough deal. But why? Is Spotify so much better than... Well, I know that YouTube Music has anyway some problems right now, and also the premium version of YouTube has some problems. But yeah. Oh, really? Wow. That would be the first platform that could make YouTube competition, I think. Now, I think YouTube was always the one and only. Oh, oh, cool. Ah, even the the pad's getting smaller with that. That is good. But that answers the question if that works with iOS. I think it will not work with iOS. It is only Android. At least now. Maybe in the future it will change there. No, as I said, Amish, I don't think it will work with an iOS simulator because it currently works only in Android project studio, Android projects. So no Flutter project. As you can see, I'm only working on the Nexus 7. But it's cool that they work on such features, right? Because it is on the right side, it is clear, you know what you can do, you have all the options here. I think that is a very good improvement for the future. The only thing is, okay, I can also shut it down. Cool. So, but with all that, I think we still can't work with that. I can't even work with Flutter with the IDE right now. So I have to roll back again, I think. So, but hopefully it's saved in the proxy or something, the versions. Yeah, maybe not stable, maybe even a bit further, because I think the beta release is working a bit better with the 4.0. So maybe Flutter is working on these only or something. Oh, that's no problem. It's cool that we tested something like that, or? I mean, it's interesting for everyone. At least I hope. So let's open it up once more in version 4.0, in that course RC1. And as you can see, I think we can see here already that the Flutter project is working fine. So Flutter seems to be ready with 4.0, but not with the Canary 9.1. So if you want to have it edge, Flutter is not ready yet. But still, it's weird that I have these problems with the keyboard. So if I use the keyboard shortcuts that I always use, like Command Shift and A, it doesn't show up. So that is a very weird problem from the Android Studio version 4. So I would, at the moment, for me, version 3.6 is the only one I can work with, because without keyboard shortcuts, the whole thing is for dumpster, I think. I can even work with Visual Studio Code. And even because I don't know so good the keyboard shortcuts for Visual Studio Code. Not because Visual Studio Code is a bad IDE. I never said that. Just to make every disclaimer that I can do. So, no, still not. So, the keyboard shortcuts don't work somehow. Very weird. Okay, so sorry. I will go back to the good old release status and update everything. Close that off. No, it needs to download again. Nah. Oh well. But back to my question, what are you doing today besides of coding with me around and taking a look at Joe Rogan? Well, I still don't know. So Joseph James Rogan is an American comedian, podcast host, and mixed martial arts color commentator. Television actor, okay. Does he make some... Okay, the zookeeper, he take part of it. Okay, it's maybe the problem that I don't watch so much TV, so I don't know these people. Maybe I should listen to one of his podcasts. Can you recommend one? No? All right. Is my voice again gone? No. You can still hear me, right? Good. So just 2 minutes left. Sorry, guys. So, but maybe we can take a look at the Codepen in the meantime, so that we don't do anything, don't have too much breaks. Oh, I have to log in? Okay, it's something that I usually do in Firefox, so just a second. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so my idea was that we create a Codepen that has like just a collection of all the Codepens that I created already. So like the dashboard more or less, so that I can say, okay, hey, this is that one, and maybe create my own screenshots for that, and so on and so forth. So to make that a bit more beautiful. Of course, I don't have so many Codepens, but maybe we can also make a featured Codepen from other people. Because as you know, there are incredible Codepens out there, like that one that Matab introduced yesterday, or the people like Dominic who creates like awesome ones. I mean, my Codepens always like look like this, which is very sad at the end, but hey, it's something. Do you all have a portfolio for yourself? So is that something? Because I'm still not have one, and I never had one. I just hear that all the time from everywhere on Twitter and from people who are starting with programming, that a portfolio is the #1 thing that you need as a young developer and starter in that area. You have one? Okay. So I think I still have to block for URLs, but I would really like to see it. So can I find it somewhere? Maybe on your Twitter handle or something? No, I think, Hamish, this still don't work. So if you will add a link, it will directly block everything off. Yeah, just wanted to try to get something. GitHub pages, all right. So what I can try is I can try to deactivate it. Let's see if I have any access there. So up, no, Streamlabs. All right, so try that. All right, so let's try that. And I think you need everywhere where you made a space, there is a dot. Let's see, 404. Okay, that can happen. Okay, so let's see, github.com and take a look. Yeah, it would be just a Codepen for my own at the moment. So because the dashboard itself is not really beautiful. Of course, I don't have so much Codepens, but in the future, maybe I will increase that a bit. And maybe also to the different repositories of about me. Like that. Ah, here we go. I think the URL gets blocked, Taha. That's the reason for. Here we go. It's a Google Chrome only website. That's something. Hey, but cool. So really everyone has its own portfolio at the moment. I really didn't have one. I'm currently working only with the website that we have, and I think years ago I created something like cv.tedweb.de or something, but oh no, it's dead. But as you can see, my portfolios are usually pretty small. And of course, my favorite one is the github.io, I think that one. I just created that small GitHub repository where I just have that nice little thing here with all the links. That's my page. But it looks awesome. I mean, with that running away and everything, it's pretty good. Okay, but back to our topic. Hopefully the Android Studio works now finally, and then let's have some look if I can work. Yeah, take that. Let's see if we're coming through. Now we delete the other and don't delete that. Maybe we use it in the future. Then I can upgrade faster. Yeah, that was my first try of animation, and I tried a bit around how much animations we can put on a page till the wow, really 41 minutes? Jeez. That's good. I mean, as long as we all have fun and we are doing the right idea and everyone is happy, I think as long as nobody writes, hey, stop doing stupid stuff and work correctly. And I mean, I'm not at the office right now, so I think I can allow myself that. Oh, look at that. Android Studio is huge. So you see that line? This is at the moment our Android Studio here. Stuff happening. Wow. All right, so back to the appearance. We start with the font size and Fira code. Let's put that on 16 or maybe 18 now, just to make it big enough for everyone. No, Mahtab is at the moment on the way. I think she's currently searching for a wedding dress. So yeah, we want to marry this year. So stuff is happening. Stuff is happening. She does that all the time during our live stream on Wednesday. She always poke me in the side if I try to get distracted by some comments or something. So she's very good at that. So let's see. Okay. Why is that now a thing? Oh, ha. All right, so we have to update all our nice little plugins. I also thought to work today a bit on the Dart Koan that I created as a GitHub repository. I don't know if you had already a look, but what my idea is there for the future is that we have something like a build runner that runs all the Koans and everything. So I created already some issues. I don't know if you have ever heard about a Koan. That is something, what I really found pretty cool is like you can run the tests and learning programming during the tests. So you're jumping into the test, fix the test, and with that you learn slowly the information about the programming language. And I really liked it for all the other languages, but I see that there is none for Dart. So I tried to start with one. So that is pretty cool. I highly recommend the one from Python and from C#. So if you want to start with that and you just never have worked with Python, there are so good Koans. I really love that. Whenever I make a training, yeah, maybe in the future. Maybe in the future. I don't know. It's like self-promoting every time and I don't feel so good with that. If that makes sense. Like that. Okay. But focus, you said I have to focus here, right? So we have a screens folder already, yay. And now we create an own file for that we call homepage. or home screen. And let's see what we can do here. And instead of doing this, I think we can remove that here. And we just create our own home screen. Up, home screen. And I think we don't need a title for that for now. And inside of our screens, home screen, we create our stateless widget. Zack. I tried to make now a bit progress, so if you have questions, just start asking them. And whenever I have time, I will come back to them. And we start, of course, our macOS. Yeah, as I said, I will use the macOS mostly because it has a lot of performance improvements regarding to the web one. So I will try to work on macOS as I get the problems with that. So for example, if the images don't display like the last time, I may be considering to go back to the web version. So let's choose that one, bring that a bit in front, more, no, less. Yeah, where is it? Ah, it's just not visible. Okay, that's here and that's there. Ah, it's empty already. Cool. So we have our home screen. Home screen is empty, just as a container. And inside of that container, we want to have a child. For now, just give it a text, hello world, which we probably can't see. So I wrap that widget in a scaffold. Buddy, here we go. So. Okay, so my idea was that we have like a Codepen selection with all the different stuff. So what I have in mind is like creating a header bar where we just write very big like collection of Codepens or something, like a headline. And then down there we want to have like a list with the different elements. And I see right now that I overlaid my own face, which is maybe not the best idea. So get a bit smaller. Here we go. Okay. So to achieve that, we have already our thing, but we don't want to center that, right? Maybe it would be good if I create just a small design for that. I choose that by random, but usually, or this time, we want actually to have a web one. And my idea is something like, I think we can use the app bar, but do you think, but I think it's a bit boring all the time. So what I will consider is just using like an own box container here that later could have also like a navigation. So like this, and we would have here like a navigation like home and, you know, the usual like screens, maybe Codepens. As I said, I don't have any idea yet, so it could be anything that we get as a result. So this is just a selection that we have. And on the left side, I would have like maybe portfolio or something, so that we get a nice information about where we are and people are happy with that. Here's still the XD plugin. And I will use a nice font, my Passion 1 that I love. So that will be this size 36, maybe even bigger, something like that. And with that, we can already start, I think. And down here, I would like to have the images one by one. So my idea is something like this, having here the text like, I don't know, Codepen 1. And up here, I would like to have the image. Okay, sounds about right. Then we can do a repeat grid, and this should be possible like forever. What do you think? Is that a good idea, or should we make some improvement there? What would you like to have on your portfolio? Maybe even a bottom bar, like with the different icons for the different social medias. So social media links. Is it on the bottom bar really nice? Don't know, maybe we could do something fancy, right? Because we are designers and inspirational people, so we could have something on that side and then have multiple of these social media links here, like here. And this cool would be starting here. So you see, I'm absolutely a designer, right? 100% designer from time to time. No, but I like to work still with an imagination of that, what I want to create. So it makes it easier for me. So what I also can imagine is that we have that down here and creating like one code pen up here that we always want to show or something. Yeah, but let's start with this. I think that is a pretty cool start. And then let's see how far we progress with all of that. So as I said, we can still use the app bar, I think. How could we do that? Yeah, are you happy with that? My 2 seconds creation. And I think we have the social bars here or something. So I think always about that, but responsive design makes it always hard to work on it. I don't know, have you? Yeah, that's true. The good thing is, I think that design is pretty responsive directly out of the box. But because I can imagine that especially up here, if this is some kind of app bar that is responsive, that could be a burger menu in the future. And all of that, because that list goes to the infinity, it wouldn't change something. Yes, right, I can use the layout builder. True. I think we can start and let's see how far we come. As I said, the layout builders makes it always a bit more difficult and I don't know how much time we have. But let's start with that. I mean, we can try everything around, right? We are a team, so you will help me and then everything works perfect. Correct. So we have our portfolio code pen. I don't know what happens now if I make that bigger. Nothing. Okay. So I can move that around a bit. So, and what I want to achieve is like the first row, as you can see, because when we go to that, I think it's always very nice to see by a line. So you can see we have here a column, right? So this part here, up here, this one is a row. And that part down here is also a row. We have then multiple, on that left side we have the first column, and then we have on the right side the second column. Do I tell that right? No. We have a row with 2 columns then inside. One is that one, and one will be this. And maybe in the future everything that comes underneath. I don't know if this works well, but yeah, let's see. And then we can set that everything up. How do we work with the spaces? What do you think? Should we work with media queries directly and say something like, okay, if you are mobile, we directly use an app bar, and if you are not mobile, we use something else? Or should we just say, let's try something around and work on desktop or web currently only? Okay, so container. I told already we need at least 1 column. So what I will do is I remove that container and also that text, because why should we have one? Okay, so let's create a column. And inside of a column we have children. How can I get a device type in web? So device type in web, that is a good question. I can't really reckon. I think you will only get the browser type in web, because the device type is getting difficult to identify. I can imagine that. But I think there are possibilities with the browser information to get which device you are, or at least to recognize if you are an Apple device or a Windows device. Ah, perfect. No. I think I have to enhance the blocking of the URLs straightly on that live streaming sessions, because it would be great if Taha can now post it. Okay, so we have a column and the first one gets a row. The first is a row. And this row is just where we have our app bar inside. So this has its own children. Or even, do we need a row? I think we can make it slightly different if we just say it has an app bar, this column. And then do like the title where we have a text like portfolio. So let's see how this turns out. Up. Okay, so we have that in the center now. Yeah, of course, because it's a Mac behavior, right? All right, so the next thing would be that we have a menu where we select everything, but I keep that for now off because I think that makes only sense if we have something to navigate to. Are you happy with the colors? Should we maybe also make a theme for that together? In our main.dart, yeah, let's make a theme. So you know that we have this theme property on side of our material app. And what I always do is I create a theme.dart inside of our lib folder. And now let's think about how we can extract that theme. Because if we leave it inside here, it could get very big. If you take a look into the theme data itself, it is such a huge class. It has so many properties to change. So I highly recommend you to think about to create an own file for that. So you have all the themes information inside one class or one file at least. What I will do is I create a class for that called theme. And inside here, we will get a method and getter method, which returns the current theme and maybe even the light theme for now. And it is theme data dot light, or is it theme dot light? What was the basic one? Theme dot. Yes. So theme dot light. It is a class, so you have to initialize it. The benefit is if you take such light, for example, wait, now I import myself. I think it's theme data dot light. Yes. And with that, we get now the light class back from theme data. And now what we can do is say copy with. And copy with is a crazy strong function that most of the people don't completely understand, I think. But it creates a copy of that light theme at the moment. And now you can change all the parameters that you want to change for yourself. So everything that you need is inside of here. And this I think that copy with method exists in so many different possibilities. So take an eye on that. And I don't know, is there a theme class somewhere else? So maybe we should call that like my own theme or app theme or something. Maybe portfolio theme, just to make sure that we don't have a conflict with any other class from material or something. And inside of our main.dart, what I want to do is custom theme. Yeah. I stick with portfolio theme for now. Portfolio is the app that we create. I think that's okay and understandable. And now what I want is to get this light theme from here. And as you see, I don't want to create everything. So for that, we have to make this method static. And also what I want is to say theme.dart too. What is theme.dart? Yeah, exactly. So everything that could come from material or anything, it's difficult. Wow. Yes, Taha, I'm sorry you came in the same trap. I think whenever you use a dot or something, it's starting to get crazy. Ah, you mean this, the file here? Yeah, good point. Portfolio theme. So I'm sorry for the block. I really have to change that. It's not okay, but now we have to copy with, and we have that broken. Portfolio theme dot light. Cool, and comma. Cool. All right, so why did I make that static? So that we can don't have to initialize the portfolio theme class. I just want to have that like an organizer for myself. Yeah, I know, but it's not not good. If my people get always deleted all their messages, it looks like someone did something very dangerous, but he was actually very friendly the whole stream over. So if someone else comes later into the stream, it looks like someone was suspicious, and I don't want to blame people, so I have to identify how I can improve this message deleted thing. I don't like that. But thank you that you stay strong with me. That's perfect. Okay, so we have our app bar at the moment that is blue, right? And we have the text. And what would be a cool color if we want to have something like that? I'm always a big fan of green and green colors. And what I do usually is going to search for the color wheel. I think that was the name. And you have like this. And I think there is also a college, yeah, exactly, where you can select a color strongness. And you can say something, okay, you want to have that more in that area, more in this one. You can make it darker, brighter, all of these kinds of things, and also shapes. And then you can add something like the harmony. And the harmony is more or less the comparable colors, and they could work good together sometimes. I think there are a lot of discussions about that. The DB, yeah, I can do that. So let's check that out. Okay, it's a reddish color, and it should change that. Yep, and now from that we take the triangle. So as you can see, it creates us 3 possibility colors, and they could work pretty well together. And for me, this is pretty decent. So I will just take these 3 colors as our main colors now in our application. So you can see we have the 3 different colors. And what I will do is inside of our portfolio theme, I also create for these a getter class, which returns us the color. And I call it primary color, and create the color itself. Make that a big size letter, so maybe I can even make that a const. Yeah, so if this is a const, we are even better. It's even performance better. You mean this getter here in front? Okay, the getter is pretty easy. To write this method, right, we would write something like the following. So we would write primary color, and then we would return a const of color 0xFF D8315B. So why is it red? Hey, another subscriber. Cool. It's so cool. I love it. Sorry. Exactly. Primary color is already. So yeah, I call it get primary color for now. But as you see, this here, of course, we can make it even shorter, and I just add the this one and like this. But you can see we don't need here, for example, the bracelets. And another thing is I don't have to call it somewhere. So if I want to use that primary color in the main.dart, so I go to here, for example, and create for now a small function, void test itself. And I would now go to the portfolio theme dot, I have to initialize it, and would say now get primary color. I have to call that method actually. And it could be that I, for example, have parameters or something, right? But with the getter function, we are even better. We can say we take the portfolio theme and say just primary color. And as you see, we don't have to call it. That is one benefit. The other one is getting handled like a variable at the end. So we will have that a bit easier to understand. And we don't have to be afraid that there are side effects, for example. A getter is always just returning one thing. Nothing more. And that's pretty awesome, pretty clear to write. And for example, you don't have to write always get something. So you are pretty fast with that. You don't have to improve there so many things. The good thing is at the end, they work nearly the same. And I'm not sure yet. What we can do is at the moment, I create a function more or less that is returning this. Static color series. Yes, I think I did that already, right? So yeah, sure. Works the same way. The only thing is with the static, you change something else. You change how this one is behaving. So, but everything else stays the same, I think. So how long is the stream already running? 1 hour. Guys, I'm very sorry. I have to make a break, like 2 minutes or something, that I can go to the bathroom. I have no idea how I can make like a break here inside. Maybe I can... I don't know. So yeah, just 2 minutes or something and I will be back. Sorry, till later. So, let's see, here we are. Much better with a fresh coffee in my hand. Okay. So hopefully I don't lost everyone. Yep. Perfect, this works. This is also fine. So have you any questions so far? And what did you write? If you remove parentheses, then it would work as get. The problem is if you remove these, you can't make a function out of it. You can just declare a variable. And this is a variable, and this is something else than this one. This is a method, a method on that thing. So it is a bit different. You can't make an arrow function with a parent with that, so it will not work like that. I'm pretty sure. So the one thing is a method that you call actually, and the other one is really a variable on that class. This one is more like a helper for expression. So if you write something like that, any other developer will understand that a getter is a return. Yeah, sure, we can use a variable for that. That is not the question. It is more, I would like, that is more like if you have something like this. If you would have a color, like primary color with an underline. All right, so this primary color is now a private variable that is only accessible here inside of our class, right? So now we can't, or this variable is not public available to all other classes. And that usually happens if we want to set it differently than we get the information. So for example, we only want to change the primary color with a function that we say void set primary color. So we have now an explicit function that changed the color. And now we can change the primary color to the new color, right? So now we can't use this part anymore with the usual variable, because that would be something different, right? So we can say something like this, but then we have to write a function for that to make that possible. And now we need a getter method that really returns that private variable with its information. So primary, no, where is it? Primary color. I think, it can't be static. Yeah, that's the problem. All right. So this is the difference actually. So with that, I make sure that this variable here is not changeable by anything else but this method. That is very important for example, change notifiers. Yeah, I don't know how much you know already with the provider package, but in the provider package, you usually try to set the variable differently because you have to always call the change notifier. So that makes it very important. So you can save other developers by trapping into changing the private variable. Very good. Okay, but where are we actually? I have a target today. I want to reach that target at least. So let's go for that. So color, we have a secondary color. That we have const color. No worries, that's all good. I love that. It makes way more fun if I talk with you a bit, and besides of just sitting here and writing my code, that helps no one at the end. So if you have questions, always let me know. And as I said, your feedback is more than welcome. If you have something that you would like to improve, give it to me. It's so valuable, you can't imagine. So third color, const color and 0xff, and go for that. Now we have our three colors, and our theme should consist always out of these three colors here. At least that is the idea. And white and black, of course, because white and black is not a color. Okay, so that was my phone. Just a second. Nothing important, that's good. Okay, so we have our three colors, we are ready to go, and these are all consts. And to be honest, when I heard now Emish's comment about these colors and getters and setters, I'm not even sure anymore if we should have that as a variable inside of the portfolio theme, because they are all constants, right? So very performant. I would maybe recommend to just take them out and bring them into an own file that we call just constants. .dart. And this file will contain our constants. So how does it work? Yeah, we need the material one for the foundation rendering. Oh, Dart UI is also possible. Is that the same color? I'm not sure. I don't think so. So let's stick with the material one for now. Or painting dart. Yeah. Okay. And what is the next thing? Yeah, the portfolio needs that, of course. And the test is not working anymore, but that's fine. Okay, why do I do that? So, because in the portfolio theme, I will only want to have stuff that is really related to the theme itself, while in the constants, everything can be. And one additional thing, that is a bit a thing that we can discuss. For constants, I tend to write now again K in front of it because I see it in a lot of Flutter tutorials and also inside of the Flutter code itself. Be aware that Dart effective, if you use that in your thing and your applications, Dart effective usually says, please don't do that with the K in front of it. And both has its benefits. So whenever you have an idea about that, if you have a strong opinion, I can change that. But for now, I will have that K in front of it. Because I try to be as close to the Flutter team as possible because they are usually pretty good. Hey, a new subscriber. Hey. Okay. So back to here. We have that, we have this. We wanted to change somehow the theme. So my primary color inside here will be the primary color that we set up in the new K primary color. So, and we have an accent color, I think, and that will be our secondary color. And we have, I think there is no third color. So for us, the secondary color, the third color will be just for us an active state. So have a look inside of our application. And as you see already, we have this nice little red bar. Okay, that's already something. And now my target for today that I set myself when I was in the break is I want at least the possibility to click on something and navigate to one of the Codepens. So that should be the minimal possibility today. Okay, and for that, how can we do that? I'm a bit loud or so. Maybe better? Yeah, or don't know. Okay. For that, we have the column, we have the app bar where we can now set everything up like actions. Could be an icon button, but we don't actually want to do that now. What I would like to see is having the next step in our design with these two, with this row with the two columns. So here's a row that has a children. And inside of these children, this row has to be, here, a comma. And this row has to be expanded, right? Because we want to have it in the whole screen, right? So that row should take everything that is not the app bar. So I have to write here something like wrap widget in an expanded widget. Let's see if I'm right. And inside of this row, we have now two columns again. Oh, and this could lead to a problem. Let's see. So we have a column here and we have directly another column. So this is the first one, which is our social bar column. And I think I will create widgets for that because it makes me nervous to I just have that lying around. And the other thing is the Codepens that we call the list view at the end. Okay. Do we see any issues so far? I think that should work fine, right? So because I want to achieve my goal today, I will start with the container here on that side. So there will be a container with a child. And there is a text. And this looks like, again, a column, right? We have an image and a text down here. So again, a column. Children with a text, with a container where the image lives in, and a text where we say something like Codepen 1. Okay, so this looks extremely boring, but we see at least something. So to make that a bit more impressive, I increase the width and the height of that container. And what I also want to have is a border surrounding it. So we need a decoration. Second column would be a row accounting to... I really like your smiley. I'm not sure what I see. Wait. So the first, you mean because that second column would be yes. So you think we can directly use a list view here? I don't think so, right? Because we have a row. And I think, really? So that's good. Because what I think is we need two columns. Wait, I can maybe make that a bit colorful. So here, this column, right, with the social media links. Then we need a second column. And inside of that second column, we have then a list view that would be like this. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that would be my idea right now, to just do it like that. So remove all that stuff and then let's go for that. And the decoration is a box decoration. We have a border, and the border, it's always a bit difficult. I think all with the color. So in the color, I just use for now the third color that we have. And for the styling and width, let's see what the width is. I think it's just a color. And what is the style? Border style, solid, of course. Oh, that's pretty good to remember, because the border all seems to be like the same thing, like the border CSS parameters, like color, then the width, and then the solid. I'm coming from a web background, so I usually try to compare everything with CSS sometimes. It's not required? Oh, that's good. Let's have a look inside of the border. As a box border, extended shape border, okay. Wow. How do you know it's not necessary? Because of the border all, right? It's here inside. Perfect. And the color is always black. It's interesting. So that is fail safe. That's good. And I think even the width is not necessary for us, because 1.0 is exactly the same. Cool. All right. That's already something, but now we are pretty tight on the top side, right? It doesn't have a lot of space in any direction. Should we add paddings already, or should we leave that for now? Not happy with that. We have that column. We don't, I think we have to surround that container here with another widget, which is a list view. And we make a builder out of that. Or let's wait with that a second, because first of all, I need some Codepens that we can actually share. So let's see, we have it not here, here. So for example, we have that Codepen, and I really love that Codepen from our last streaming session. So what I will do is just take the URL here and create a list out of that. Maybe list, yeah, that could be. Yeah, you're right. But now we have a column, and a column sounds also weird. But it's right, because the column here is mentioned for these two things, right? So there is a text and a container inside, yep. So this is this whole thing. And now we want to have the chord. So the column is actually that whole border around. Let's see, not that I get confused. I don't want to delete so much, but for now, let's start with the list with our logic a bit. So I will create for now up here a const with a list, with our URL list, which is just this. And here inside we have our strings, like for example this one. Yeah, so you think that, yeah, exactly. So this part here is our container. Actually, I should really create a widget for that, that I don't get confused by that. Okay. So where are we? Yeah, we have the URL, maybe a second one that I don't have too boring stuff. Maybe you have cool Codepens that I should share inside of that portfolio example. Navigation bar stays on page transition. View an editor. really have to be more active in Codepens. I think Matab is there much better. She creates that cool stuff with that line through effect and everything. What I do is just, yeah, the rest. Okay, so we have now a URL list, and I created that just so that we can create the... sure, you get all the URLs. I will put them in the video description. I think that is the easiest way that I can solve this, if you like. But as I said, I don't have so many good Codepens, so the best ones make Matab. So I just put them here, and then... Let's see. Okay, and save. Cool, so they are now in the video description. And I think you can follow me also on Codepen. I think that makes it a bit easier. So why did I create that URL list? I just want to have a list so that we can create the list view now. And as you already said correctly, I think that column here should be wrapped inside of a list view. So I would create a list view dot builder, I think, or I even separate it because we want to have some space in between. And here we have a list view builder called item builder. And maybe an interesting fact here, whenever the name builder is inside of something as a parameter inside of a widget, most of the time you will have a context. And the second thing, if it's an item builder, you always get the index after that. So you can remember, always builder means you get a callback with a context. It's like a general rule that nearly always apply. At least I didn't see something else there yet. So if I'm wrong, please let me know. And the item count is actually our URL list that I created beforehand, length, just to get the information. And now we have a broken thing because the list view in the default mode is making the access to the like a column, but we want to have actually we want to have the axis. I think, no, what is the name for the scroll direction? Is an axis dot horizontal. And what is the other? The separator builder. Of course, I created with the constructor of a separated the list view. With that, we have to access a separated builder. And by the logic that I gave, it is a builder. So we get, again, a context. And the separator builder in that area brings also the index again. And why did I need that? Because I want to have like space between the different containers that we create now. So I create here always as a separator a sized box with a width of 10 pixels, just to have some space there. Okay, and now we get some issues here. Let's have a read what happens. Horizontal viewport was unbound width. And this was actually the thing that we wanted to achieve, right? So we wanted to scroll indefinitely. True that. I think Taha has much better Codepens already. How many views has the Codepen with the Dr. Strange, was it, right? Anyway, we get an unbound width. And actually, this is my target. I want to have an unbound width, which is a bit sad now. Yeah, but how many views has this Codepen? That single one? 1 billion? 1 trillion? How many likes? It was so amazing, really. I still learned today. Like, yours and the one from Dominic are currently my learning targets where I'm working with, because I want to understand how the animations work, and they are so good. Anyway, I'm again lost with my understanding. Let me check, and I wanted to do that, column, item builder, and we have this horizontal. And he complains because the row has only a specific width, and maybe I have to make this one expanded inside of that row. No, still not. Horizontal viewport, home. Okay. What else could be expanded? Maybe this. Oops. So now this is the heavy part. I think whenever I do something like that, I always get confused with the expandeds. So I understand the problem. So the problem is that the row that we created with the 2 columns, we have now a row, and this has unbound, right? So it is infinity long, and this is a problem for it. So we have a row, and the row should have actually it should be sized to the full length. So I thought I can, because it is expanded, I thought that should solve already the problem, but unfortunately it does not. Then we have a column. The predefined height of app bar. Don't know. Predefined height is size from height k toolbar height, which is 65 pixels, and then plus the bottom preferred size height. And if this is null, it does add null. So I would say 56 in general. Okay, sad. So this is not working. The row is 100%. This is beautiful. And this container should be in a box constraint, I think. Do we need that container? I think we said no. Rendering proxy. Do we get more information? Has size. Yeah. How do you work with that problem? I mean, it is exactly what we want, right? I want that it is scrollable till the infinity to the right. Do I miss something that we have to do? Oops. Maybe we can wrap that also in an expanded. Ah, oh, all right. So I did something. Let's see how many expandeds I can remove. Ah, this one can't be. So you see, for me, it's always a try of making as much expandeds as possible. Is it 58? Could be. So, but what already works is we have now the Codepens. And as you can see, our URL list is currently a list of 2 URLs. But this is actually pretty bad in many different ways. First of all, a URL list is actually wrong because it is a Codepen list. And the other thing is we currently have here just a list of strings, which is actually a map of string to string. Because what I want to have is like a name for that Codepen. And after that, I would like to have, oops, that are too many. So I want to have a name of the string, of the Codepen. And after that, I would like to have, and here, and remove that. And I think this is so. Ah, perfect. Cool. Okay, and the name of that map has to be unique. So the first Codepen is at the moment Codepen 1, and the other one is Codepen 2. And that's pretty good, because if we have a map, I can now use this inside of our item builder. As you know, we get the sorry. As you know, we get the index of that item builder. And did I not answer that? Yeah, exactly, Taha, exactly. But there's getting added something right into the app bar height. It is size from height, then the K toolbar height, and then the bottom preferred size, whatever this is. So the size I would prefer, otherwise unconstrained. So, and if this is null, it edits null or something. Okay, back to our solution. As I said, we have now the Codepens, we have that added, we have the different expandeds here, and now inside of our item builder column, we can create multiple of these columns, right? And at the moment there are 2, and we always use the same text. And what we else could do is we could use our Codepen list dot and then access the index dot the key. Oh, that is not possible. Ah, right, this gives us the value, right? So what I want is to have the index, the key contains key, no keys. And then here we want to get the index. Does not work like that. It's an iterable, so we have to make that toList. And then we want to get the index. So that works already. So you can see Codepen 1, Codepen 2. And next we want to add actually the link to it. So this container, this column here, that whole column from these two parts should be clickable. And as you know, the gesture detector is the best friend here with the on tap. And now we have to do something special because we are working. In that case, it should work. When we click something, everything should be fine. And we can check that also with print, hello world. But actually we don't want to just print something, we want to call an URL. And to make that possible in Codepen, we have to import the HTML package. So that is actually not possible to make that as a default import because we have to give it a name. Because inside of the Dart HTML package, you will see that there is no class surrounding everything. So we don't have different methods. We have actually only the export of the naming. So to use everything correctly, it's the easiest to use this. So html.navigate or something was the open maybe. How.window.open? Yeah. And then we can navigate to the URL that we want. So for example, we want to navigate to the URL Codepen list and then the index, which gives us the value. And here Codepen list.keys, take the make it to list that we can access it correctly, and then we access the index. All right, so if I am correct now, oh, getter not found window, yeah. And okay, now we have the problem because we are in web, right? We have to do the following. K is web, and this K is web checks if we are in a web browser. But as you see already, we get some issues here, getter not found window and not found Dart HTML. Because I think this HTML is only web only, and with that we can't use it in a desktop application. So I think it's getting tree shaked down. So that means we don't have the HTML actually in our application at all. So we can't open an URL with that here. So my idea is now, after we know this, we have to change to our web browser to work with that. And I will suppress the warning because of course I want to work with the Flutter web here in that area. So give us a second to start the web server, and I try to improve this also. So get rid of this window and wait till the other window open up. Yes, exactly. If I would work with a desktop application, I would now install the URL launcher plugin. But do not forget that we don't have plugins inside of Codepen. So in Codepen, you can't just add any plugin on pub.dev. So we have to work with the built-in Dart and material stuff that we get. Whew. I have to stop the poll. Let's see how it turned out. Maybe we can have a look into the result here already. Where is it actually? No, that's not it. Here maybe? Slowly. Up here. Streamlabs.com. So, is anyone new here? Should I maybe repeat what we are actually doing? Because we did so many things in between that we are getting a bit confused. So we started off, I wanted to create like a portfolio screen inside of Codepen. Hey, Ogün, sorry. And we started off by creating well, I wanted to create a portfolio site for Codepens actually. And in between, we started with Android Studio 4.1. We started with let's check the emulator setup, that we found out that it doesn't work in Flutter. From there, we going to more advanced stuff where we just take a look into the newest feature from the newest. And now we are coming back more or less to coding, and we started to create a list of Codepens. And what I want to do is like having a portfolio in Codepen where I can share all my Codepens from all the other parts. And Taha and Emish are accompanying me today and helping me by writing my code to improve myself. And also, yeah, if you have questions, go for it. And yeah, I think I will do another 1 hour maybe, or half an hour or something. I'm not sure yet. And I hope I can at least achieve that if we are in our browser or in our window later, that doesn't start up actually. Where is that? Restarted in 17 milliseconds. So somewhere there should be an application now. I started the web server. That's the mistake. Okay, cool. And after that half an hour, I want to at least have the possibility to click on a container and get navigated to another Codepen. So that would be the preferred way. And let's see how far we are. So, okay. So we have a pretty big window at the moment. And in the meantime, when I'm working on that, I just want to always play with you around. So if you have questions, there will be always something that I will add. I get very easily confused. And which MBP you're using? What storage? What is an MBP? Sorry. MBP. MBP? MacBook Pro. A big one. To be honest, I had the Microsoft Surface Book in the past and I hated it. I was like, it was slow, it was sluggish, and I work only with Windows since then. And I was a well defender of don't work with Macs because I hated the Apple restrictions as a developer. So you have to pay a lot of money to actually be part of that developer cycle process. And now when I started to use a MacBook from Marta, because she had one, I was impressed. It was so good, it was fast and everything. And now I use, how can I, about this Mac, I think? I use this one. Is that helpful? So memory, 32 gig, processor, 2.4, 8 core, Intel Core i9. Yeah, I think there's everything that you need. So I took that one. Don't know if it's good. Storage 265 gigabyte, I think, is the consensus. So pretty small. No, 500 gig. I wouldn't say that there is an issue with the Apple program. It is just very difficult to get into the inner circle, and also it is very difficult, or not really difficult, you just have to have money. And as a student, I don't have money, so how should I develop for Apple? That is not possible. And I mean, I think you have the same problem more. Okay. So, but back, we have a gesture detector, we create the HTML open. So this web has the possibility to access the grade identical 00. So the cool thing is it checks the float numbers against each other to check if JavaScript is into place. And if JavaScript is into place, because in the web, 0 and 0.0 is the same. Everywhere else it is not. So it is very cool how they check against the web. So I really love that method. So please keep in mind, if you are inside of the web, your integers are no integers anymore. I'm not even sure how much influence that has into the development process, but oh, you're right. I can do that. If you like that more, we can use an inkwell here. I think that makes no difference. Maybe it's a bit less boilerplate. Cool. So we have our tab. We tab now, and if we are here in you don't see that. Let me add a new window. Yeah, that's absolutely true. We should have an eye on that. That's wrong. Or window capture, select. So you see everything is a bit experimental for everyone who's new and don't know what I'm doing actually. So I'm trying around, I'm talking with people, want to get an info how everything works out. Learn how the stream is working. As you can see, it's not so easy for me yet. This is not the right thing. Here we go, maybe. Huh? I can't move my... What is this? Here we go. It's the wrong... So maybe I can move it to their side. Whoop. A bit smaller. Here we go. And put it on the place. Cool. Okay, Inkwell. With Inkwell, we should have now the possibility, if I click one of them, we'll get right away directed. And as you can see, interesting enough, we navigate to null, which is not pretty good. HTML window.open seems also... Maybe we should print our two informations that we have here, just to identify if everything works correctly here. Let's have a look what we print actually. So we print null here. That means this part is empty. So from Codepen list, I have to get the value, right? Here we go. Perfect. So what I did, I changed the two values and then to list and get the index. Now I'm not even more sure if this is the best way to do it, because that whole to list thing looks very sluggish and not really convenient. What I could make is creating a class called Codepen. And in this class I give a name and the URL itself. Up. So. Hey, a new subscriber, Subash. Nice to see you here around. Up. You can't see the code. Oh, that is very bad. Thank you for letting me know. I make that smaller. Cool. Hi. So yeah, as I said, I created two Codepens down here. Better two Codepen classes that I will write in a second. And I put the URL inside. And what I will change is I don't want to have a map anymore. I want to have a list of Codepen. So I create a class called Codepen, and it contains a private, wrong language. And it creates two strings that I call name, and the other one is the URL. And I don't make them private for now because it's the easiest way to do. But what I will do is I make them final. And because I can create a constructor much easier with that. Yeah, exactly. It's coming from my so from the Java background sometimes. It comes back to me. All right, so we have that. This can happen. This fits well. So now why they complain? This is a value set can't be assigned to set Codepen. This one. Okay, and now we have this name and this URL, and this should be both strings, right? So why is it still complaining? Isn't the const constructor? Yeah, that's true. So make this one const, so everything is easier. Cool. because we have here a constant list, right? So this class has to be also a constant at the end. So in runtime, it will directly initialize everything and we don't have to rebuild everything. The const keyword is really performance. So whenever you can use it, do it. It's really good. But I don't want to block too much. Now back to here. And now with that slightly change, I have now the possibility to work here much better. So you can see this is directly working. Here we don't have to access the keys anymore, because what I can do is I take that object on that level and then just select what I want to have. So for example, the name, and for the other one, what is the other one? The URL. Okay, same thing we do here. Oops, we receive all that, put it here. Yep, the first one was the URL, the second one was the name. What is that text? That was the name, right? Good. Are there any questions so far to anything that I'm telling about? Do you have something on your mind that we should talk about? Any wishes, dreams, problems that I can help with? Perfect. So you can see now when we go here, null. These are the. I thought about where this Codepen comes from, and now I know this Codepen was created for Stack Overflow. Null means no questions. Perfect. That came from a Stack Overflow question that I answered, which I also highly recommend to everyone. Do it. There are so many funny Stack Overflow questions that you can answer. It's crazy. People have always the best questions. So, what I see right there, that's a bit too big. The problem with the, do you see that? The at the moment we have the whole row, the whole size of the screen for that navigation, for this Codepens part. That's pretty much pretty big. So how can we change that? Currently this is an expanded, and this list view creates this sized box that is fine with that inkwell, but maybe this has to be wrapped in a container. Yeah, exactly. And maybe I give that a height, or should it be a container? Yeah, I think a container is for now pretty good. You mean this comments here? The comments behind are not from me. They are coming from, so they are not added by me. This is Android Studio, which just adds them behind there, that I know where everything ends. So you mean a sized box surrounding of the inkwell to make it a smaller part? Is that possible even? Yeah, okay, let's have a look. Then height 100, for example. No, still full sized. Maybe I can use a box constraint. Wrap with a constraint box. And I say the constraints here inside is a box constraint. And I give it a max height of 100. It's reloading and nothing changed. I restart for a second. The alignment of column, I can try that. So, but we don't have a column. We have just a list view here. Or do you mean the column up here? Okay. Yeah, you mean this expanded should be useless? I'm not sure with that. The problem is it's crashing hard if I'm doing that, so maybe this one? Nah, it's also bad. I really thought that a constraint box would help. But wait, I made a mistake. I see, I made a mistake. I wanted to get rid of that sized box here. No, oh no, it was right. The whole list view has to be in a constraint box. Of course, so that one has to be in a constraint box. And this one has a constraint with the box constraints. And here we can add a max height of 100. Here we go. Or still not. But maybe I can't constrain an expanded one. You're right. So the expanded was too much. You can see we are now perfectly in the height. So let's give that at least 150, that we have some space to breathe. Of course, this had to be something different, right? So we don't want to have that. And maybe we can also center this one. Whoop, did it reload? No. No, not center. That is wrong. We want to have that alignment, as you said, Ogun. I always are interested in names. So Ogun Ashik, is that right? Cool, love it. Okay, so now the column is in the center. Okay, that's something. And if we click on it, we navigate already somewhere else. So that is pretty awesome. We at least achieved our goal for today. So that is already pretty good. Not that I'm already convinced that everything is happily working, but that is already what I wanted to achieve at least. So, what should we do next? What do you think? What would be the next step that we should do? Oops. Yep. In the meantime, I can pull off the... I should create a widget. Yeah, maybe this is a good option. This is that. I just want to turn off the poll. The navigation bar, also a good option. If you are interested in the poll, we have 3 votes. 1 is for left and 2 are for right. You can even see that. All right, so as I said, I'm trying a bit around, so for everyone who's new. Okay, this can be closed. I think that can be closed even further. Don't need that anymore. Okay, let's make a mixture. Let's create the widget. I think that we have a bit more space here and not everything is in one big mess. What should we separate in one widget? What do you think? Inside of here, I would see one widget actually to be this part, right? So to have at least, to have that Codepen as a widget. Can I make that a bit slightly? Yeah. So this part. And then should be also the whole thing a widget? I don't think so, or we don't want to use that multiple times. Yeah, the item inside. Perfect. I see it the same way. Okay, so back to our Android Studio and all the children inside. So that means we take a look into the list view separated, and we are talking about this inkwell at the end. So this inkwell should be an own widget because it is way too big. We have multiple options to do so, as I always say, and one is the outline, but it doesn't work properly for me. This one is not working correct. That's sad, unfortunate. And the other one is we could select everything inside of that widget. I do that with option up and down, so you can select easier that stuff here. And then we can select all this stuff. But as you see, also there is no option of excluding the widget. So I make Command X, take everything that I need and create the widget myself. And how do we call that? We call that Codepen items, maybe Codepen items widget, something like that. And what we will do is we return, instead of the container that is inside, we return the inkwell. But you can already see that we get an error because the index is not clear. So we have to get a final index here. So which element we are. That would be one option. Or better, we give exactly the item of the list that we have. So we give different Codepens down here. So Codepen. That is a stateless widget, so final Codepen, right? You would take the index, but with the Codepen I have the option to just do that and make it way easier to read, or? And now we create a constructor. I remove the key because we don't want to manage that. Yep. Are you happy with that, what I'm doing right now, or? And now we create up here the Codepen item. All right. Sorry, sometimes I'm just too fast. And in here we have to give a Codepen. Voila. What I don't like, and I'm a very big fan of that, so if we remove now this Codepen, you see we don't get an error inside of our IDE. So no one warns us that this is a stupid idea and we shouldn't do that. Actually, we get a lot of errors, everything crashes, and that is always annoying. So we have two options here, right? One would be that we say the Codepen item gets a required to this Codepen. At least now, if this is not set, we see that it's getting yellow. Yeah, that it is required. That is one option. So at least we know now that we make something wrong. But actually what I prefer usually is to make a standard value, but we don't have the option here. So at the moment I keep it as a required. Okay, because we don't have a fallback Codepen. Okay. So I think add required sounds good. Everything works well. And we see in our browser, we can now navigate, right? That works also well. It's still far away from our design that we created, but it's the first step to it. Okay, next thing, what should we do next? I think about, did I miss something? No, or should work like that. The text style to the texts, okay. All right, so in order to add some text to here we go, we can add a style. And yeah, which text style do we use? What we could do is, number one, we write everything ourselves, which is most of the time not the best idea, right? So what I want to do is theme.off. With that, we have access to the main theme that is working inside of our application. Now we can access everything inside here. And if you know, there's also a text theme. And this one has also a lot of different parts. Whoa. And the next one. I really have to get rid of that. It's such a bad feature. Let me try this. Maybe it works now. Or you know, I can also do something like this. I can give me a second. I can fix that, I hope. Hamish Pancholi up. Did that work? I don't know. All right. But yeah, we use the theme with the text theme. And now with the text theme, we have the option to access different parts here. Hey, Nifeyeves, welcome to the Flutter Explained community. And now we have multiple options that we can use. And what I will use is the body text one. And give me just a second. And we are back. So, and maybe I can make that permit also to Tahar. Then we don't block each other all the time. So as I said, if you are new here, that happens quite frequently at the moment. So everyone who's posting an address or a dot or something and adds something to it, it's like blocking everything and kills the kicks the people out, which very unfortunate. But yeah, so now we have that body text 1. And if we jump inside here, we can see it's a text style. And if we want to override that now, because we don't want to use always the same text font, it looks a bit boring, we can jump at the beginning. We created our portfolio theme. Inside of here, we have our text theme also. So you can see here that we made a copy with, and now we can do the same thing here. So we say theme data.light.text theme, and then we say copy with. Is that possible? Yeah. So I didn't promise too much. And the body 1 text. Oh, since when do we have body 1? Okay, it's deprecated. Okay, so we don't use deprecated stuff. And now we can specify here a text style that is everywhere allowed to use, or everywhere the main usage. And as you can see, we get now here all the red lines because we override the body text with an empty text style. And this is not very good, right? So which color should we use as a default color? Let's start with our secondary color. And the size for our body should be 12 pixels, I think. That's fine. Or maybe 14. Maybe even bigger, something like that. So, but as you can see, we have now the possibility to have at one specific place all the different parts that we want to. And I see right now that my image is now a bit too small, even though we can see the code. Whoops. So you see, I still have to train my my editing skills and my stream skills. So I increased that a bit so that you can read everything better. Where? Okay, maybe it's working now. Up. Okay. And now we have one possibility where we can add and change our styles, and we don't have to do it everywhere. So also the color and everything can be set at one location, and that should work perfectly fine. Do we have anything else that we maybe want to add? Font family, font styles. I don't know if there are some specific font families. No. Never have done that, so happily. So with that, we have Roboto, the size. And I'm still a bit confused because inside of that column, the objects are not centered in the bottom. That is a bit sad. So maybe we have it centered in the column. So that is the big column, right? That is centered. But I would like to have them centered inside of a list view. Is that so harsh to do? Do I have to center the... Maybe I have to Google that because I don't know. So center elements in list view. Flutter. I'm not the only one who's asking. Perfect. So the list view true shrink wrap, a shrink wrap, okay, with a padding, vertical and horizontal center. So they wrap the whole list view inside of a center widget. Okay, so you mean where? At line 92? Hey, geez, you're really fast with everything. Okay, so this text you want to have inside of a container with a specific height. Can do so. And let's give it a 32. Does it act? And I mean, then we should have a sized box here, I think. Ah, width. So, and now the size of the container is getting a problem, I think. That we have specified here. So let's make that a 200 or even bigger. Okay, what did we have now here? This one is maybe obvious, but 32 seems to be a bit small. So maybe 150 to have a bit more space. 100, do you think? Yeah. That would be the same size as the box above and on top. So what I will do is, because we have now 2 times the 100 here, I would create inside of that class at least a width. That could be a const, right? So can I do something like that? Double. No? Okay. Voila. And this width will be used in 2 parts so that we are not doing the mistake and writing everything 100 times. So if we want to have them always together, so we can change that once up here, and then we have the perfect size here. Are you happy with that? So we have that, and the height is 100. So now I've read that we should wrap the whole list view inside of a center widget to make them centered inside each other. And let's see where we come with that. Nope, didn't work for me. What was the other explanation? Maybe I found something better. Here? No. Only vertical center. What do we have here? Shrink wrap true. So they wrap this list view wrap in a center. And then they gave a shrink wrap to true. How does it look now? No. Not the list view, but the container on line 82. The line 82. You mean that column should be wrapped in a center widget? Ah, did we have a column inside? No, but still. If we wrap this one, you think that will go into the center. Let's see. Oops. Wow. The next one, even though help. Okay, Bruce, I got your message. Thank you, Bruce. So you say stretch true. Line 92. So this one down here. No worries, that's all good. So what can I do with that column? I could also add here a main axis alignment to center, or yeah, maybe this helps. But why do they now behave so strange? Ah, because of the height of that down here. And the max height to 100. You mean from the box constraint? This one. So they are now 200 sized inside. That should be fine. And because of the other one has this text down here has this height, so I have to give that a height of like 50. Yeah, so to make them look identical. And what I also want to have is a sized box up here still, that they get some space to breathe. Oops, with a height of 5 maybe. So now we have a bit more space here. That looks decent, or 10? Okay, let's make 10. Can see the difference better. All right, so we managed already again something. Now we have that in place. They look a bit better. And now instead of these borders, I would like to have images at least. So we can't use assets, I think, but we could use an HTML, an image somewhere from the internet for now. Just to make it a bit more beautiful, right? If we work on that, can improve that too. So I think Unsplash, but is there a free image API or something? Free random ping. Lorem Pixum. Yeah, I think Lorem Pixum will do. So we take that. Yeah, sorry Amish, I added you to the allowed links users, so I'm not sure why everyone gets blocked with that dot stuff. I have an idea. You know what? I just disable it, so post your URLs as you wish. Hopefully that works. So, sorry. Okay, but now instead of having the container with the width and height, we want to have a decoration image, I think. So inside of here we have an image, and this is a decoration image, which is wants to have a provider, and this is a network image. Yep. And the network image gets a URL, which is this one. Yep. Let's see how the box looks like. Okay, pretty good. But we have to change a bit because our width is here width, and I think the height is 100. So as you can see, we have now at least a demo page with some images inside. Whew. Okay. Let's add maybe some Codepens, just that we can see if the scrolling is working correctly. So I just duplicate that once, and you can see now we have the possibility to scroll in both directions because of the list view, which works perfectly fine. And we can also change the different parts here to get all what we want. I remove the border. That is absolutely correct. But what we could add is maybe a shadow, or it looks a bit boring without shadow. I love shadows. So maybe we add box shadow, which is a list of box shadows. And inside here we give it a color. If you wonder why I'm using the color and make my own color black instead of writing something like colors.black, it is the easy reason because you can't make this that colors black to a constant. So I will have always written that myself. Usually you can write that also in your constants.dart and say color k black is this one, and then just use that constant because, as I said, this stuff gives performance improvements, so highly recommended. And of course we have to add for these shadows a bit like blur radius that we set to 5 and an offset which gets like 2 and 2. Something like this. Looks already like a frame and like it's flying around, so that's pretty cool. And it's very smooth. I didn't expect that, to be frank. So we can navigate, works also well. And now what I would like is at least to have on the left side a bar with some icons. Or what do you think? What should be the next point, agenda point that we should add? Grayish instead of black. Instead of making it grayish, I would recommend to just decrease the opacity of the to decrease the opacity of the color. So instead of having this, we can have that on 99, for example, and call that not anymore black. So we call that shadow color to make it more expressive, that we can use that always as our shadow. And then we have one consistent way to add shadows everywhere. Okay, so the social media, you can see already I created here that other column. And this column is a bit special. If we take a look now at Adobe XD, these should fit on the same size. So we have to change somehow that these are on the center, but this comes in the future, I think, shouldn't be a problem. And now we want to add here on the left side like a social bar with different icons. How can we do that? We have already in place a container, I think would be good, with a column. Or just a column. And inside of that we have several icons. So we have the column already. And in my mind I just need some icons, right? So if I add, for example, this one. It's getting red. Yeah, because of the children. Yep. And now we should see already that we have an icon here. You think we need a row, Daniel? I doubt it, because we want to have like the icons organized like this. So there should be the first icon. Whoops. I try to make it a bit smaller. So like this, and another one here, and another one there. So this should be our social media icons representing. Yeah. So with that, we have the possibility to add different icons. I just add now 3 to make it visible. And now what we want is actually we want to have some padding on the left and a padding on the top of this column, right? Daniel, for you maybe are, we have already created like the frame for the whole application. So that's why we are pretty sure that we have already a row where we have these two parts inside. So you can see on the left side the social icons. And on the right side, we have these images at the moment. So that represents more or less our cool, extremely awesome Adobe XD design. Okay, but back to our thinking. So we have our row, and I want that these two start on the top, right? I don't want that they take all the space everywhere. So instead of making this centered, I would like to have that on top. So I remove that for now. And you can already see it looks pretty correct. Yeah, so this is stopping it. That's a good idea. And now what we need is a bit padding around this column, I think, or even around the row, or even further. Let me think. That column could have a padding, right? So if we add a padding and even be harsh with all, so we say all directions, the app bar gets a padding too, which is also okay, I think, or to get a bit more space, to have a bit more breather. Main axis alignment in column. So you mean in this column, I assume, with their different children, so that this gets... No, why should we add that? Okay, we have that, this column and this row. And I think that row needs also some space evenly. Yep, that we can do. So main axis alignment, as Amish says, we can make a space evenly. So now they take the whole space on the left side. So instead of the AC unit, maybe I should give 3 different, like, I don't know, accessibility. You can use, of course, your own. And maybe a fire, what's hot is always good. And what I want to also have is around that column, I want to have a border so that it separates a bit better from the rest of the application. So for that, I would create a container surrounding it with a decoration. Whoop. Because the child is already here. So yep, with a decoration, box decoration, and have a border. And what we learned is that border all don't need anything actually to just work, right? Yeah. but I think the column inside need now some padding. That's the cool work, that makes fun. So you can just play a bit around, make it colorful and everything. And so we have now managed it to have these different icons, right? That represents our social medias that we can also open up, right? So instead of having an icon, maybe it would be better to have an icon button, I think. 3 of them. And then we can just say that the icon itself should be the icon. Is it icon? I think so. And on pressed, of course. So on pressed, and here we have this part. And instead of writing that all the time again, or let's create first on pressed everywhere. No, because actually we want to work for the Codepen. So I want to publish that on Codepen to collect all my Codepens here inside. We can't use Font Awesome because Font Awesome is a package at the moment. So I could initialize that in the web, but I don't know how that works with Codepen, to be frank. Maybe we have to take a look deeper there. Yep, so I have to surround them by icon. Yep, and the last one is here. Icon. Yep. So now we are ready. Oh, now is the spacing but very huge. That lies because the icon buttons themselves has a padding and then it's getting automatically big. Okay. Good. So with that we have some space, we have some colors, that works. Now what I don't understand is why they are not aligned properly. Most likely because we have still a center somewhere, right? Yeah, here. So if we remove that, yeah, we have them in one space. And what I would like is to remove that height, but I can't, right? Yeah. Is it that height? Ah, yeah, with that constraint, I break everything, sure. You can see we're coming slowly to the end of the stream. I'm a bit tired, so all what I'm doing is more trying around instead of thinking. That is usually not a good plan to do that, especially not in a live stream where everyone wants to have perfect results right away. So okay, but now we have the app bar, and from the app bar we want to have some space going away, right? So we create here size box with a height 20 pixels. I think that should be fine. Now we have there also some spacing. We can navigate here on the left side, and here is the only one where we is missing some padding, and I think I will add that too. Where is it? That should be in between of the columns, right? So we have the row with the container with the icon buttons and the expanded. So here in between we need also a size box with a width, and I give that 10 for now. Let's see how it turns out. Yep. It's really great to work with you guys. So I can't give thank you enough to work all that stuff. It makes so much fun, really. I'm loving that. At the beginning it was work, but slowly it's getting really my absolute hobby with doing the tutorials, working with you guys, learning more. That is amazing. I love that. And if you get help with that and you are getting also better with everything, then everyone has something, right? So it's just amazing. Okay, so we can now navigate. We can scroll here and we can click on the different icons to navigate, actually. That is already pretty good. And the other thing that I want to actually do is do the on pressed here so that we can navigate to the different social media parts that we have. For this, I could now write all the stuff again, right, that we have already down here. So you see we have somewhere already created a navigator. here, that HTML open. Thank you, Amish. It's maybe a bit too much because I think there are a lot of very good Flutter channels, but I'm happy to count as one of them at least. That would be happy for me already. Back. So exactly, we have the onPressed here, and in the onPressed we actually want to do the same thing, right? We want to check if we are in the web, because else the application anyway don't work. And then we want to open an URL. And actually we won't have the URLs here strictly. So the one is, for example, Twitter. HTTPS Twitter/FlutterXP. Don't forget to follow. Really, that's great, Amish. I like that to hear. So the AC unit will navigate us now to my Twitter account. So you can see here everything, the nice little new Flutter news. I hope you have seen that all. And all the other tweets that I'm giving. Cool. And what do we have else? Is there a Twitter one? I don't think so right now. Google wouldn't support anything else. What do we have? Yeah, let's take zoom in. Okay. And now, because I could write this method, of course, like thousands of times, right? But this would be too much. So instead of doing this, I will create for this onPressed an own function. Open social media. So, and what I will give inside is the URL that I want to go through. So HTTPS twitter.com/flutterxp. You can change that, of course, to everything that you want. And I create this method. And this method gives us a string, or better, a URL. And then we want to do exactly this. So we want to check the case web. And then instead of open, we just say open the URL. And what we also can do is add a name here. So string name, just to give that down. And now I have the benefit that I don't have to create all the time all this stuff here. So this is Twitter. And last but not least, the other two. That is a good question. I think that has something to do with the HTML part. So let us check. If I take off the doc side, I don't know, most of you most likely know this DevTools from web. So you can inspect every element. And I don't know if you have ever checked the HTML from Flutter, but it looks fantastic and weird. So you can see we have head, we have HTML, that is so far so good. But then it's getting very awkward with this Flutter glass pane. And if you have read the documentation from Flutter, they are strict about that. So they don't want that someone can just copy the HTML code and has the same page like any company. So that is something very cool that they introduced. I think that is very cool. Even though it makes sharing a bit harder. And I think the name, if we search for Twitter now inside of this app, I can imagine that the name is just the part that is going into the HTML parts. So it is like the href, and then you have there a name too, right? But this is, hey, Coffee Maniac. So let us check. I'm maybe also wrong. Let's have a look into HTML for Dart. And you can see we have this window open from web. And we have the window name. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. And it's just the DOM string for the iframe. So a DOM string specified the name of the browsing context into which to load the specific resource. If the name doesn't indicate an existing context, a new window is created and is given the name specified to window name. Okay, so that means for me, if I understand that right, if I would click twice on that object, so one, we open up the Codepen, and if I leave that now open and click once more, okay, somehow the click doesn't work right now. But as you can see, if I open another tab where the name is not the same, we are jumping inside of the same tab. But if we click somewhere where the name is a different one, we create a new tab. Yeah, okay. So to make it more, I close them once more. So if I click on Codepen 1, we create the tab to user uploaded image challenge. But if I click now another one, we create a new tab. If I click now the first again, we reload the tab that we clicked before. So pretty cool. Good question. Thank you. I hope I learned something here. But now why don't my social media links work? That is way harder. Because that is really bad. So onPressed is working. It's the... of course. Wait. I think I have to do something like this. Because the onPressed is... Because the onPressed is an empty callback. So I can't just add something here inside. And I think that will not work. But now we have onPressed again. Yeah. I think that is not Flutter specific, it's more web development because HTML open is from the web, right? But it's great that Flutter supports all of that. Okay, so let's try something. Here we go. We put that thing, it's locked right now, jeez, what I'm doing. So we unlock that, we move it, so we make it bigger. Let's see how big, or you know what, I'm hiding that. Bring it to the main monitor. Cool. All right. So that's for today. And I think I'm pretty proud with that. And what I will do now is I will have to copy everything in our main folder. So everything here inside, the constants, bringing to the main, check, everything here inside. Now removing all the imports that we have somewhere around. Up. And bringing them to the top. Removing these imports, searching for errors. We have to import, of course, and remove these ones. So, and why we do that? Because I create now inside of here, maybe going to the Codepen here. And what I will do now is I create a Codepen here inside, paste everything inside. Put that stuff in the video description. So if you are interested in watching a bit about the Codepens and what we did today, you will find all the necessary stuff here inside. And I think I will wrap that session up today. Thank you very much, Amish. Thank you very much. All others that looked a bit around, looked into it, followed me along in that great session today. It made so much fun. And I will increase everything a bit. I will improve that, but I think I will make that a weekly session or something where we just sit together making some fun as we did now. It was amazing. I learned something from Android Studio 4.1. I highly recommend to take a look into it. The emulator was great. Thank you, Arjun. It was really great, and I think we see us the next time. The next live stream will be at Wednesday with my with Mahtab together again, and then the next live stream I think will be next week on Saturday, or maybe I make spontaneous somewhere one in between. I don't know yet. There is no process that I follow at the moment. I didn't know that this would be actually be watched, so I was a bit yeah, I just wanted to play a bit around, but suddenly a lot of people were here, and I thought, let's do it a bit longer. That is Flutter portfolio, Flutter Codepen portfolio. Great. I'm really happy that so many people enjoy the content that we create. Really, that next live stream most likely Wednesday at 15 p.m. or 3 p.m. in Europe time, if this helps you. Or else next week on Saturday, maybe. I will maybe do with you together another session where we maybe talk about different topics that we could cover, or even do maybe having like a session where we just talk about the timetables, when we will have the live streams and so on. And then we can figure it all together out. I think that would be the best solution. Okay, but wrapping up the episode, I was there, right? So we created an application where we have the different links to our to our social media accounts. We have different parts where we can select to the Codepens that we already created. And I would say this is my first very own portfolio. It doesn't seem like much, but geez, it is Flutter web, which is awesome. It was created by the best community that I can imagine. We created a lot of different colors here. As you can see, it looks pretty good. And that's it for today. And I think we see us the next time. Thank you guys for watching and enjoy the rest of your weekend. And yeah, that's it. See ya.